criticism of the Indian government as a current MP of the opposition an act of maligning the country. That is the charge that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress are defending today as the BJP increase the intensity of attacks against the Congress leader. This is the second time in a matter of days, in fact, that Mr. Gandhi's comments in the UK have attracted strong charges and criticism from the BJP. In the latest incident, Rahul Gandhi was speaking with British MPs at an event organized on the premises of the House of Parliament complex on Monday. During these comments, he talked about how democracy is stifled in the Indian Parliament, claiming mics of opposition leaders are silenced. He described India's democracy as weakened and called the RSS a fascist organization, even likening it to the Muslim Brotherhood. But first, let's listen in to some of those comments.
The democratic contest in India has completely changed. And the reason it's changed is because one organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions. RSS is you can call it a secret society. It's built along the lines of the Muslim Brotherhood, and the idea is to use the democratic contest to come to power and then subvert the democratic contest afterwards. The coercion, the violence that is concerned, it's not the Congress that's saying it. Congress is saying it, but you just got to travel in India and see it. I mean, you can see what's being done to the Dalit community, or you can see what's being done to the tribal community. You can see what's being done to the minorities. It's not that the Congress is saying it and objectively it's not being seen. There are articles all across in the foreign press all the time that there is a serious problem with Indian democracy. A benign word. I mean, they're sitting on 2,000 square kilometers of our territory. Right? I mean, I don't know. That antagonize doesn't quite capture it. Right? No? I mean, it doesn't quite capture it. And the interesting thing is that when they did it, our Prime Minister said in a meeting with the opposition where I was there, that not a single inch of Indian territory has been taken. Right? Now, what message does that send to the Chinese? Right? The Chinese know they're sitting on 2,000 square kilometers of our territory. Our military knows it. And our Prime Minister says, well, they're not there. So it encourages them.
Now, the comments attracted a stinging critique from two union ministers, Kiran Rijiju and Anurag Thakur, who said Rahul Gandhi is maligning the country on foreign soil and went on to say that this is not the way a sitting MP should speak. Listening to some of those comments.
ऐसा है ये जो चाहे राहुल गांधी जी हो कोई भी हो सुबह से रात तक सरकार को गाली देते रहते हैं, मोदी जी को गाली देते रहते हैं और जो सबसे ज्यादा बोलते हैं वही बोलते हैं कि बोलने नहीं दिया जा रहा है।
सर वो कह रहे हैं कि राहुल गांधी सेइंग दैट चाइना इज सिटिंग ऑन 2000 किलोमीटर्स अबाउट
आप लोग राहुल गांधी जी का जो भी वो बात करते हैं उसको क्यों इतना तूल देते हैं? वो देश के लिए कोई काम नहीं आने वाले बातें करते हैं, उसको आप चर्चा में मत लाइए इसको।
Rahul Gandhi is a politician, very senior politician. He is a leader of a political party, a senior leader, former president of a Congress party. He has every right to comment on what is going on in India. Indian system, the entire world, they all feel that all sections are not safe in India. That is what he is trying to tell, and I fully stand by his statement.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी ने जो आपातकाल लाया था राहुल जी, वो कौन सा लोकतांत्रिक था? लोकतंत्र नहीं होता तो चाइना जैसा यहाँ नहीं है, नहीं तो आपको बोलने नहीं दिया जाता। लेकिन अगर देश के बाहर गाली देते हैं तो आप नरेंद्र मोदी को गाली नहीं दे रहे हैं, भारत के संविधान को गाली दे रहे हैं, भारत के संप्रभुता को गाली दे रहे हैं।
देखिए, मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड 1928 में बनी और आरएसएस 1925 में बनी। वो भी धर्म की राजनीति करते हैं, आरएसएस भी धर्म की राजनीति करती है। वहाँ पे इजिप्ट के अंदर उनके पास एक बार ताकत आ गई थी, आरएसएस के पास भी एक बार ताकत आ गई है। तो बहुत सारी चीजें मिलती जुलती हैं, इसलिए राहुल गांधी ने ये बात कही है।
Now, this is not the first time that Rahul Gandhi has used forums outside the country to target the BJP. In 2017, while speaking in California, he said the idea of non-violence is under attack today. He said today there is no power in parliament, power is outside the house and with the Prime Minister's office and ministers. In Bahrain in 2018, Rahul said tremendous anger and unrest is on the streets of India. In Singapore in 2018, he said there's a very aggressive and organized attack on the system. There is a general atmosphere of intimidation. In Germany in the same year, he said India has a job problem, but Prime Minister Modi refuses to acknowledge it. In London in May 2022, he said the soul of India is under attack from the BJP. Now, the question is a political attack on the Indian government tantamount to maligning the country? And does it especially become so, or does it become so if the forum is an international one on foreign shores? To speak on this, I am joined today by Dharinder Tayal, BJP leader, Sandeep Ghosh, author and political commentator, Sanjay Jha, author, is with me on the show, and I'm also speaking with Advocate Mahima Singh of the Congress. Ms. Mahima Singh, let me begin with your take. Why does Rahul have to say these things in the premises of the UK Parliament? He is talking about his voice as an MP in the Indian Parliament being silenced while he is addressing British parliamentarians. The critique is that he is maligning India's democratic system.
Good evening, Astha. Good evening.
This is Tamanna here. Yeah, hi.
Hi. Good evening, all. So, when you ask me that question, I would say that if the government is so worried, they should rather correct their actions rather than being worried about the narrative. We do understand that they are a narrative-driven party. They are more concerned about how it looks outside rather than how they act, about their very actions and their stance. And I'd say the world is watching. The world is very much watching, the furor that the BJP government in India is raising over the remarks about their ideological guru, the RSS, the very RSS about which Sardar Patel had said that, they spread communal poison in their speeches. Sardar Patel, before banning the RSS, had also said that it was because of the RSS that we lost invaluable life.
If I may, the question is not about what... But you have sidestepped the question, ma'am. I would like you to complete fully. Let me just add one addendum. And then you can complete fully. I'll come back to you. You will complete fully.
Let me please complete my sentence. I don't think I've spoken even, 45 seconds before you first interjected. And then, they try to appropriate Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And it was Subhash Chandra Boseji's daughter earlier this year that said that RSS and Netaji's ideologies are poles apart. So this very government, the BJP government, is creating this ruckus, this furor about Rahul Gandhi ji is speaking against the RSS and how the RSS has disrupted the democratic structure and system in this country. And they're not worried about why Narendra Modi ji in 2015 said that now you would not be ashamed.
May I point out, and I was coming back to you, I'm simply saying that my question is not why has Rahul Gandhi said this. My question is why has Rahul Gandhi said this to British parliamentarians in the premises of the UK Parliament? As an opposition leader, he has been saying this for years. You have a democratic right to say it. The criticism today is not about what has been said, rather than where it has been said.
Let's come to that. Let's come to that. It was in Seoul in 2015 that Mr. Narendra Modi said that now nobody will be ashamed of being born in India, that people were moving out of this country because of misgovernment. Now today, the number of the people moving out every day is double. You have to note that. You also have to note that when Narendra Modi ji goes abroad to the US and says, "Ab ki baar Trump Sarkar," in what capacity does he speak? So you see, you have to understand that what we are talking about is a larger narrative. The whole world is concerned about the sabotage of democracy in the world's largest democracy, because that's what Rahul ji said, that it's not only about India, it's going to affect the entire globe, the entire planet, because the moment India's democracy, where international institutions are being attacked upon, an institution as reputed as BBC is attacked upon, is
he urging intervention? Is he urging intervention? Is he urging intervention from British lawmakers?
I think he's made his stance very clear when he said that it's our problem, we'll deal with it, but you must know. I think he's categorically said that.
Darinder Tayal,
hear what he's said.
This is selective hearing on part of the BJP. He said it's our problem, we'll deal with it. It's not uncommon for Indian leaders to make their point abroad.
You're asking me?
So, thank you, Tamanna. I think a lot of interesting things said by Mahima ji. She started from RSS, started quoting Sardar Patel, but she forgot what Nehru did with RSS. He specifically called them to the Republic Day parade for what RSS stood for. But that is probably, I think, where one can talk about selective memory and partial amnesia. So let's forget about that. That is not what we're talking about today. He also spoke about what Mr. Modi had gone and said somewhere, and he said, we've lost a decade. Yes, we lost a decade. Let me tell you, with data, I'll only speak with data. With data, let me tell you just some facts and figures how we had lost so much of time. The total FDI, for example, in India, from independence is $950 billion, and in the 532 out of that have come during the NDA regime. So that is the kind of time we'd lost. We are a $3.5 trillion economy.
Narendra ji, one minute. May I appreciate all the data?
Let me just give you.
No, but it's not relevant to the debate. It's not relevant to the debate, because you'll say, I have these facts. The Congress will say, even we have these facts to support what Rahul Gandhi is saying. No. The question is, so you're saying that the decade was indeed lost. But should it have been said on foreign soil? The criticism today from the BJP is not कि ऐसा क्यों बोला, कि कहाँ बोला. I want to come back to the point.
No, there are two issues here. There are two issues here very clearly. कहाँ बोला और क्या बोला, झूठ बोला. So what has been peddled is a bunch of lies. And now let me take that on. One, even Mahima has used the words sabotage of democracy. We've gone through elections. Some 960 million voters, 600 million voted, and how many repolls? 217 on account of weather. That is the kind of democracy that is there in India, and they're talking about sabotage of democracy. If there was so much of sabotage of democracy, and he is saying election commission has been hijacked, how did they win Himachal? No, that was okay. That is selective. Himachal was good. Everything was good. Suddenly EVMs are good. Everything is good. But when we begin to lose right across the country because we've lost relevance. Now, I'll tell you what is happening. The way India is growing, the way India handled COVID, the way all that is happening is not suiting a lot of people. And the way Congress is slipping and losing election after election, and the way the Gandhis are losing relevance now that somebody else has become the president, they're going just the way the Jachans of past did, going to the East India Company. He's also landed with the British.
Okay.
I'm losing relevance. Please help me. That is what is happening.
We are in 1 minute. Okay, Mahima saying your response, but we are in a global world right now where everyone talks to everyone. I mean, harking back to days of East India Company, I'm not sure. The question still remains, though, that what is the message you're trying to put across as an elected member of parliament in India? And is that the forum to score political points? Mahima Singh.
Tamanna ji, I would say that when the BJP spokesperson talks about the world, looking at us and how, I would say that the world is definitely looking at our depleting position on across various indices, like, the Press Freedom Index, like the World Hunger Index, like the Women's Safety Index. You see, the world is watching over us, how the women are treating in this, how the women are being treated. There are BJP ruled states where, the crime against women is at a record high for years together. And then
Again,
they talk about
I appreciate the preparation of statistics. 1 minute.
How are we
I appreciate, but I request both the BJP and the Congress spokesperson to stay on topic.
Exactly on the. I'm exactly on the topic, Tamanna, and I would say that we are projecting up our stance and our position to the world day in, day out. It's not on a single day when an Indian MP is invited to the university or to a global forum to discuss the position of democracy and how should we work towards protection of democracy at large, that the world comes to know about our stance. They look at us when we ignore an Hindenburg report, when 12 lakh crores of Indian public.
Let me get Sandeep Ghosh in. Let me get Sandeep Ghosh in. There are no great secrets that Rahul Gandhi is revealing. The Congress spokesperson is making the argument that there are no great deep secrets that Rahul Gandhi is going and revealing in these speeches. He's been invited to speak. He is saying what he believes to be his truth. What is the big furor about? And should any attack, a political attack on the government of the day, be seen as an attack on the nation?
Tamanna, I have a political position on this. So my issues with this is nothing to do with the politics. He's doing his politics. Somebody else is doing his politics. My issue is with certain facts and certain. First of all, Mr. Gandhi, for example, is talking. He has to speak in British Parliament because he's not allowed to speak in Indian Parliament. Just look at the statistics of his attending Parliament. He has been missing on certain sessions altogether. Even if you were to take the state of Kerala, where the average attendance of an MP is 84%, his attendance is 52%. National attendance is 79%. If you were to look at number of interventions, participation in debate, he is just 6, whereas the general average is 41, and 68.2 is the average of his state people. So these are factors to therefore say he doesn't get a chance to speak here. He has to go abroad. Mics are silenced.
No, but 1 minute. Sandeep, you're conflating a couple of issues. 1 minute. If I understand correctly, 1 minute. He has not said that I'm speaking here because I do not get to speak in my own parliament. He is speaking there because an event was organized for him to speak.
No,
but he did say that the opposition does not get to speak and question large issues. Our mics are silenced.
No, which is wrong. Again, I was coming to that. Mics have never been silent during a speech. Only time I remember in my short memory is when Mr. L.K. Advani was speaking, and then the leader of the ruling party signaled to the then speaker to turn off the mic, and the mic was actually turned off while there was no commotion. If mics are turned off when there are commotion or when there are abuses happening, that's when the speaker, but never has the mics been turned on during a speech. He did say, from whatever I've heard, that he has to speak in a foreign university because he's not invited to Indian universities. I'm surprised that why a Rajasthan university, a Chhattisgarh university, or universities in Congress-friendly states or Congress and jointly ruling, say Tamil Nadu, which has got excellent universities, it's got NGO forums, why are they not inviting him and he has to seek out a Cambridge to go and talk? So those are my objections. Now, if you're saying Dalits have a very bad time in India, I am not, or the tribals are having a bad time. We have for the first time got a tribal president, and we look at the performance in the Northeast. If the world is thinking tribal rights are not being respected, and if a tribal dominant region is not seeing that as a problem, I find there is a disconnect. And that is where the issues are. I can go on about his comments about China. China occupying, what has happened in the past.
So again, now Sandeep Ghosh, to make it clear, you don't like the comments or you don't like where he said it?
No,
so
no,
if he
no.
said this in
Where
some
he said
Rajasthan
it, for the
university or
justification.
Tamil Nadu university, you're okay with it?
Subhash Chandra Bose's example was given. He had to run away from the country because there was nothing being done. He had to go and do it there, but there are enough forum. I don't see, for example, why you call me into your show. I'm a nobody. I was not even a journalist, nothing. I've just kind of strayed into this area and I found my way to speak in these fora because there is certain degree of freedom of speech in the country. So to say those things, I think are misrepresentations.
I invite you. You do yourself a disservice, Mr. Ghosh. I invite you because I like to add all views to our conversation and I like to give our viewers all views. No mics will be silenced here unless people start talking on top of each other.
Run away from India, dressed as a Sikh.
No, did he say he has to run away? 1 minute. Sanjay Jha.
Subramaniam Swami.
Sanjay Jha, what has compelled Rahul Gandhi to go and speak? Okay, what has compelled Rahul Gandhi to go and speak his, no pun intended, Man Ki Baat in the UK? Why not in India? And just an additional point, so as to not repeat, for a politician of his stature, even if he has to or he wants to highlight the perils in his democracy as he sees it, shouldn't he also use these forums as an opportunity to highlight the progress that India has made beyond party lines? He is a member of parliament, he is a politician in this country. His party has ruled this country for a large, enormous portion of time. Where we've reached today is also because of what previous governments, including Congress-led governments, have done. Should he not also talk about that? It seems like a bit of a rant to anyone else who will listen.
Tamanna, good evening. I want to keep my answer brief. I think everyone has spoken. My point is very straightforward. First, a quick fact check for the BJP spokesperson on your show. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru never invited the RSS for that Independence Day parade. It's been fact checked many times over. I suggest he Google it and get the details. So that's factually incorrect, number one. Number two, by the way, we live in a hyper-connected world, Tamanna. Today, the world knows what's going on in Ukraine, what happens in America, what's happening in North Korea. And the world knows about lynchings in India. The world knows about religious freedom in our country. The world knows about the Gautam Adani meltdown. The world knows about many corruption allegations here. People know how minorities and Dalits are being thrashed in our country. Everybody knows about democratic recession in India. The world is aware of the constitutional threats made very often by BJP leaders. There is nothing that Rahul Gandhi said in Cambridge that hasn't been said in India 1,000 times on a daily basis, and we have debated it on the TV channels. So let me tell you why the BJP is worried. I'll tell you why. Because Rahul Gandhi goes to Cambridge, and we do respects to my friend Sandeep Ghosh, who believes that Harvard and Cambridge and Oxford and maybe Berkeley are not good enough. And if he was given a choice, he would go to a place in Bihar or Bengal. I know he wouldn't do that. But, let's not indulge in just self-righteous nonsense. You go to a Cambridge because it's an internationally respected institution.
No, he said he's going there because he's not allowed to go in India.
I didn't interrupt you, Sandeep. I didn't interrupt you, Sandeep. Let me carry on.
I am just correcting your fact.
No, don't correct me. You can correct me later. So the truth of life, Tamanna, it's about time we called a spade a spade. Let's not be pussyfooting around. Rahul Gandhi goes there and addresses questions asked of him. The problem that the BJP and Mr. Ghosh need to worry about, apolitical as Mr. Ghosh may be, is why do people ask Mr. Gandhi questions about Indian democracy? Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, talked about religious freedom in India. You want me to quote to you what the foreign leaders have said on the way India has grown? It's all there in the public domain. Now, what does Rahul Gandhi do? In the Bharat Joro Yatra, in every part of India, he questions the RSS hate campaign. He questions BJP's religious hate speeches. He talks about the death of democracy. You want him to go to Cambridge, and when asked the same question, he has to say, no, everything is hunky-dory. So you want him to be
the important perspective here that Sanjay Jha has brought in is that he's answering questions he's asked. He's answering questions he's asked. The Cambridge comments, though, was a speech, Sanjay.
Yeah, but
What he's spoken
Tamanna,
here was a Q&A.
But
No,
Tamanna,
I'm not splitting hairs. I'm not
Tamanna,
splitting
just a
hairs. It's
minute,
an
just a
important
minute.
distinction.
No,
Yeah.
no, Tamanna, it's very important for me to add. He's, by the way, not just spoken at Cambridge. He's also been at the think tank. He's also addressed journalists. And the questions on the theme have been the same. I mean, this is the point that the BJP needs to worry about. And what last point before the BJP spokesperson comes in? The Prime Minister goes to the Far East and says in 2015, 1 year after becoming Prime Minister, Indians were ashamed to call themselves Indians before 2014. By the way, is he insulting your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother or not? People who voted for an India which was ruled by the Congress or governed by the Congress.
Okay, I will. This is the same point that the Congress spokesperson also brought up. Dharinder Dayal, I'll request you to respond since Sanjay Jha has also fact-checked a comment you made earlier in the show.
Yeah, please ask him to respond to that.
So I will share the photograph. I have the photograph of it. So let us not peddle lies. I'll share the photograph with you. I've done it in the past. I will do it again.
He was never
Now let
invited
me
by
say a couple of things about what. Can I speak, Mr. Jha? I think you've had your say.
Yeah, but you're still not giving a conclusive
what
answer.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been saying now, how he's been peddling lies.
Let Dharinder Dayal respond. Let Dharinder Dayal finish his point. He listened to you, Sanjay. Let him finish his point. Yes.
Now, let me tell you, Mr. Jha has very smartly said Rahul Gandhi has not said anything that was not known to the public. Now, I'll tell you point by point what lies Mr. Rahul Gandhi has peddled. The first thing where he started from was that I'm having to come and speak here because I have not been able to, I'm not allowed to speak in Indian universities. So that point has already been brought out by Mr. Ghosh also. But let me also say that Mr. Rahul Gandhi went to speak at JNU, and what did he go for? Why is Afzal being hanged? This is what he does. One. So there's nobody stopping him from speaking at Indian universities, but he goes and says, I'm not allowed. Two, he says, and the Congress spokesperson also spoke about it, crime against women. Now, these are the Shah Bano people who are talking about crime against women. And these are the people, he said, that the press has been hijacked in India, and the people from Congress are on a debate here today. Rahul Gandhi, as he traversed the length of the country, held innumerable press conferences, but press has been hijacked. The parliament has been hijacked, and this is the party which is the one responsible for bringing an emergency, and between Indira Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, used 356 90 times, and they are talking about parliament.
Okay,
Judiciary has been hijacked in this country. I think that is laughable. If somebody hijacked, no, I'm going point by point and being very relevant.
No,
they're saying judiciary has been hijacked. Who hijacked judiciary in the Shah Bano case?
No, I understand. This is a long-standing political fight. And there are two perspectives on this. The Congress makes this charge. The BJP says, no, this is completely wrong. You did this. You know, my question to you, Mr. Dharinder Dayal, is that if Rahul Gandhi is such an irrelevant politician to the BJP, they think that, you know, what he says doesn't make sense, doesn't matter, then why respond, why react, why all the press conferences? Let him say something at a Chatham House speech or a Q&A session.
No.
Is it going to change anything for you politically?
No,
if right now the example is that the Congress is at its nadir and we've seen Northeast they failed, why does it matter?
No, so Congress, you're talking about Northeast, Congress in Northeast has anyway said we are not bothered about the minorities, and they were talking about minorities, that the atrocities on minorities, and two of the minority-dominated states have given an overwhelming majority to the BJP.
Why is it pricking if it's making no political difference to you? Why is it pricking if it's making no political difference to you, Mr. Dayal? Why is it bothering? Do you really think that the image of India is going to be tarnished by this?
Tamanna, anybody, anywhere who is going to say anything against my country, I'm going to react to it. It is not a matter of why am I reacting. Anybody says this, I will react to it. My country is not there to peddle to somebody's whims and fancies and to peddle to somebody's relevance in the political system.
Okay,
Just
so we've
because he's
come back to
becoming
the issue of
irrelevant does not mean
nationalism.
we would allow
Sanjay
him
Jha,
a
I'll let
field
you
day.
respond. Everyone's hand is up, but I'll let Sanjay Jha respond. It's come back to the question of nationalism. As a national leader of the largest opposition party, and you know, when I was going through the previous comments of Rahul Gandhi, a lot of speeches were made on international forum in the year 2018, before the last general election. Any leader of that kind of prominence wants to create an image in the run-up to an election. We're already in the pre-election year. Is this
Tamanna,
what is going to work for him politically? Who is he speaking to? Is he speaking to the Indian diaspora? Is he trying to send a message to the Indian public? As a politician, who is he speaking to, Sanjay?
Tamanna, let me tell you this straight away. This is evident, right? The very fact that all TV channels have been discussing Rahul Gandhi answers the question that you live in a globalized world. Social media, when it took off, has put an end to this foreign soil, domestic soil conversation. Everything you say and do is now global. It's meant for the entire world. Mr. Modi, by the way, you think all his drama that he did at Madison Square Garden and at Houston was meant at his vote bank in India. That's how it is done. So the truth is that if Rahul Gandhi is speaking at Cambridge, I think the worry that Mr. Dayal, I'll tell you what is his real worry.
Are you saying the audience is in India, Sanjay? Are you saying the audience is in India?
I said the audience is global, and this is why the message is actually now getting even further amplification. What has Rahul Gandhi said? Has he said anything wrong? Not at all. Has he said a lie? Not at all. He has proved everything that he's made a statement on. The BJP cannot contradict him on the allegations. Now, I'll tell you why they have a problem, Tamanna. The BJP has a problem because, as Mr. Tayar did not answer, he used Shah Banu. Bhai Saab, जब आप बिल्किस बानू का जिस तरीके से आप लोगों ने अत्याचार और आप लोगों ने जैसे उनका अपमान किया है, देश बात कर रहा है, विदेश में बात हो रहा है उसके बारे में. अरे आप लोग
What about you is not taking the conversation anywhere.
Something
the
very
point
dangerous.
Tamanna is very straightforward. Why doesn't
Tamanna, let me give you something very dangerous said by.
Okay, one minute, one by one, everyone. I promise no mic silenced over here, but let's speak one by one, please.
Yeah. So Tamanna,
yes, quick.
Short, why doesn't the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy, Shri Narendra Modi ji, please get off the teleprompter and give interviews to the Indian media? Go to Cambridge, go to Oxford.
No, even Rahul Gandhi is not giving interviews to the Indian media. I'm sorry, Sanjay Jha, even Rahul Gandhi is not giving interviews to the Indian media. No one wants to give interviews anymore. People want to... Okay, now let me speak the truth. No leaders want to give interviews anymore. They want to put out very well-produced, curated clips of what they are saying. Please see his Instagram feed. Everyone wants to put very well-produced, slickly produced, curated clips to put out their message the way they want. Sit down for a no-holds-barred interview. I'm sure if Rahul Gandhi wants to give an interview, no one will say no. No one will say no.
Not a single press conference, Tamanna. Isn't that a joke for the world's biggest democracy?
Correct, but where is Rahul Gandhi's interviews too? No one wants to give interviews. Everyone wants a captive audience and a curated answer. Okay, last word quickly to Mahima Singh. I'm actually really over time, but last word to Mahima Singh and one comment to Sandeep Ghosh. Please keep it brief. Yes.
I will keep it very brief. Rahul Gandhi ji has been doing press conferences, very frequently. And apart from that, you were talking about what the BJP spokesperson talked about Shah Bano, and I wanted to remind Bilkis Bano, thanks to Sanjay ji, he's already done that. And you were talking, Tamanna, about, talking on the foreign soil. So should he go, when a farmer's agitation happens in India, historical, Hathras happens, BBC intimidation happens, Bilkis Bano's convicts are, remitted on the very evening of 15th of August when he speaks from the Lal Killa about women, about the respect of women. So I would say that I would resonate with Mr. Jha as he said that it's a global village now, wherein nothing is
It's a global village. Last word to Sandeep Ghosh. It's a global village, Mr. Ghosh. It's a global village.
Very quickly, I haven't yet heard Mr. Mahima or anybody from Congress talk about the Asianet office raids in Kerala. I don't know whether Asianet, because it's an Indian one and not a BBC one, Congress doesn't take note of it. But coming back, last point, Tamanna, Rahul Gandhi has done BJP a huge favor by talking there. So what you're hearing, you will hear much more of it. The amplification will happen in this country, will happen by BJP. And Rahul Gandhi will have a lot to answer in the run-up to 2024. So they have given them actually bold, what we call a full toss, which would be hit out of the park many, many times between now and 2024. Thank you.
All right, let's see. That, match is just about begin. Okay, Mr. Tayal. Okay, if you're insisting on the last word, but then one short line, please.
I want to add about something. Yeah, something very dangerous that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has done, where he pointed to a Sikh gentleman there and said he is a second-rate citizen in India. Now, none of your viewers are going to believe that any of that kind happens in India.
You are ashamed of
He's playing a very dangerous game,
what
and
about
we need to be
Mr.
careful
Modi's
there.
remarks?
I'm going to wrap it here. But the BJP has to decide. Is Rahul Gandhi an inconsequential leader? 1 minute. I don't want to silence mics, but I have to wrap up. So I request everyone to please end their comments. The BJP has to decide, is Rahul Gandhi an inconsequential leader, or do his words, or do his... Mr. Tayal, please. The BJP has to decide, is Rahul Gandhi an inconsequential leader, or do his words actually malign this country? Mr. Rahul Gandhi has to decide that if this is his preparation for 2024, is the forum or the message right? Who exactly is he talking to?